George Orwell said, Americans sleep peaceably at night because rough men stand ready to do violence on their behalf. When I was a teenager, maybe 15 or 16, I watched First Blood, and man, I thought John Rambo was the coolest. I wanted to be like John Rambo one day. Last night, I had the privilege and honor of talking to a man who makes John Rambo look like a Cub Scout. I talked to a man named Dale Comstock, former Green Beret, former Delta Force operator, former mercenary. He would never acknowledge or admit to, but my research kind of shows that he was a paramilitary officer for an OGA, other government agency, and my research has shown basically he worked for the CIA, went deep behind enemy lines by himself or maybe with one other guy, and with a ton of cash from the government, the American government, to pay, feed, and house the locals and train them how to be elite warriors and then go into battle against some of the fiercest terrorists known to man. Takes a tough son of a gun to do that, and the skill set, just think about the skill set involved in that. This guy's amazing. And what's interesting, you see Hollywood's version of these guys and you see John Rambo. I talked to this guy, and this guy was the furthest, his personality was the furthest it could be. This guy was charismatic, he was funny, he was very smart, gave me enlightenment. I actually quoted him yesterday morning when I made the video about my granddaughter. He was the guy that I quoted that said he wasn't afraid to die because he was prepared to die. And we touched on that a little bit last night. He gave me some insight into death. And he agreed to come on my show Saturday. But I want to warn you, this guy's the real deal. This guy is the real deal, and he doesn't play games. He shoots straight. He tells you like it is, and it might be offensive to some people. So if you're easily offended by violence, don't watch it. If you're easily offended by politically incorrect talk, don't watch it. This guy's, like I said, he's the real deal. He's going to say it like it is, and I'm just going to let him talk. And the one neat thing about him is he likes to talk as much as me. So he told me, he said, Rob, I'll be your easiest interview. You ask me a question, and then you can go shopping and come back and tell me when you're ready for me to stop. And I got that last night. We talked for about a half an hour, but we could have easily talked all night. And we're going to keep Saturday morning to an hour, not because me or him don't want to talk longer, but I have my son. He does the technical stuff for me, and I don't want to hold him away from his family too long Saturday morning. So this is something I'm really looking forward to. And like I said, he's a violent man, but he's violent on our behalf. We need violent men. Just like, we eat a steak and we enjoy it, but if we had to be the guys cutting up that cow, we might get squeamish about it. We like to have peace. We like to have our children protected, but you have to meet violence with violence, and you have to be more violent. I remember when the first UFC came out, a lot of my friends were like, man, you're a Christian, you like this is brutal. But to me, it was just a fight. Growing up in the streets of Irvington and Newark, I had dozens of street fights, and to me it was just a fight. And I knew the guys would shake hands afterwards, because men like that are warriors, and this guy is a warrior. In fact, he's 58, and he's trying to get a professional MMA fight for himself. This guy, like I said, this guy is the real deal. And why am I interviewing him? I mean, first of all, he's intriguing, but I think he has a lot to say. Not only is he a former Green Beret, a former mercenary, former Delta Force, former paramilitary guy for the government, he's a Catholic. He has faith in God. He loves his family. He's made several videos about being a good father. Fatherhood means a lot to him. He's really close with his kids. In fact, him and his son, I don't know how old they were, but They went into a bodybuilding contest, and he actually beat his son, which was pretty neat. But he's also a very humble guy. He told me about his failures and his regrets and some things he questions. He's very humble. He's real. This guy's the real deal. And I'm really looking forward to him, to talking to him, you know. And politically, he's one of us. He's on our side. He wants what's best for America. He really understands the political situation we're in. And he's just as concerned. He's one of us. He's a patriot. He's a greater patriot. He's a greater patriot than me. I mean, he put his life out there on the line. And the one thing I had to say about my audience, I always tell people I have the most loving audience. I have, you know, I felt your love yesterday and all through this terrible tragedy I'm going through with my granddaughter passing. But I also have the smartest audience. I mean, you guys say some things that blow my mind. I learn from you guys in the comment section so much. But I also notice I have the most patriotic audience. And this guy is a true American hero in the real sense. In every sense of the word, Dale Comscott is an American hero. And I really look forward to talking to him. But like I said, you know, he's a violent man. But God, he doesn't just violently hurt people. He's violent against people that need violence against them. Terrorists, people that want to kill your children, people that want to kill your wife, people that want to kill you. Thank God for these violent men, that they use their violence. I mean, look in the Old Testament. It's pretty violent when King David cut off Goliath's head. You know, there's times, you know, everything, there's a time for everything under the sun. There's a time for peace and there's a time for war. And thank God we have these men that are willing to put it all on the line for us in war. And just kind of give you a couple examples of the violence I'm talking about. I don't mean to laugh, but he said, you know, when these guys brag about shooting deer and how many deers they kill deer hunting, I always say, well, you know, it's easy to shoot a deer that's sitting there eating food. He said, try chasing down a deer on foot and slitting his throat with a Swiss Army knife. That's the difference between a Delta operator and a mere mortal. He said, you know, in Delta Force, they taught him a lot of things. They taught him how to fly a plane. They taught him how to jump out of a plane. They taught him how to ride a horse. I mean, they teach him a lot of stuff besides just killing people. And he says, you know, they taught us how to kill a grizzly bear with a spear. Although I would rather get up close with a buck knife and whisper in his ear as I stabbed him. Nighty night, teddy bear, you know. He said he was kidding about the grizzly bear, but I don't know. But this is the kind of guy he is. He's just a tough, rough, all-American dude. I mean, I'm really looking forward to this interview. And if you're not familiar with Delta Force, because for years the government wouldn't even acknowledge that Delta Force was a thing. It was so top secret, and there's a lot he won't be able to talk about. But they do acknowledge that Delta Force is a unit. They used to call them the Special Missions Unit. But the Delta Force is so elite that they only allow people to try out that are Navy SEALs. So like, it's like an all-star team. So like Navy SEALs, Green Berets, Army Rangers, Marine Force, Recon, the best of the best, the Air Force, Special Forces, the best of the best get to try out. Less than 10% make it, and only about 3% make it through the training. I mean, these guys are the best of the best. You know, I'm a Navy guy, and, you know, I always say the SEALs are really bad, but I think the Delta Force, you know, you got to say they're the toughest, most well-trained military unit in the world. You know, they were fashioned, you know, they kind of copied the British SAS, but I think they took it to the next level. But we'll ask him about that. I mean, there's a lot of questions I want to ask. If you got any questions, you're curious, leave them in the comments. But this is a man who's faced death many times. He thought he was going to die, and he was prepared. So that's what I'm interested in. How do you prepare for death? That's my main thing. And like I said, you know, he's not politically correct. I said, man, you remind me of Trump. I said, but the only difference is, you know, when someone, you know, Trump never attacked innocent people. But when people attacked him, you know, if they threw a punch, he figuratively threw a bat. I said, you literally throw a bat. He goes, no, I shoot him. So, like I said, you may not appreciate the humor, but, you know, these guys, this is, you know, they have very dry, sarcastic military humor. So that's why I put a warning. We're going to be discussing violence, and And like I said, I'm going to let him go. I'm not going to tell this guy he can't do anything. He can say whatever he wants to say on my show. This is one bad dude in a good way, a real American hero, Dale Comstock. We're going to record it early Saturday morning and post it right after. So please tune in, and God bless, stay Catholic, and I want to thank you guys for all your prayers. You get me through this, and keep praying for my children, please. God bless and stay Catholic.